I have learned so much about my personal style in the past few weeks. Let's wrap it up. Hi, my name is Sarah, and welcome to my channel, which is all about sewing and styling a handmade wardrobe. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what I've learned from going through my personal style evolution, and I'm also going to be sharing some upcoming sewing plans that I want to make for fall and winter. So let's talk about part one, which is the lessons that I have learned. As I'm sharing these lessons with you, I'm just going to be putting up pictures of outfits that I have worn recently in my new personal style. If you have any specific questions about any of the outfits, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. So since going through this exercise of trying to figure out what my personal style is for the time being, I found that I've been really excited about getting dressed again. Now, I haven't been taking outfit photos every single day, but there were definitely days where I didn't have time to take photos, but I would put on an outfit and think to myself, oh, this would make such a good photo, it's a really good outfit. And I just feel like that's a positive sign that I'm on the right track with my personal style. I'm definitely finding that wearing more simple pieces makes for more creative outfits, because one, it's easier to mix and match things when they're more classic and basic, and also you can come up with so many different combinations. Whereas, not that there's anything wrong with having a bright color or a bold print, but it can be more difficult to find outfits that are really unique and interesting with those particular pieces of clothing that you can wear over and over again in different ways. I kind of worried when I did my Pinterest board and was pinning these outfits that I was really interested in wearing that I would feel bored after a while, that I would feel like I was wearing the same thing all the time. But I actually have found just the opposite. I'm really excited to put different combinations together and have different looks. And overall, I would say that my style has felt more elevated, more chic, more sophisticated, which is something that I've really wanted for myself for a really long time. Now, the second lesson that I've learned is technically not something I really needed to learn, but it is something I need to remember. I am a person who needs variety. You know that famous story about Steve Jobs where he had the same black turtleneck and jeans that he wore every single day, and you open up his closet and it's all the same stuff? We all know that story. If that were me, I would really hate my life because I would find it so boring. Even though I love my new personal style and the way that I've been dressing lately, I would still say that I would want to wear those kinds of clothes maybe 60 or 70% of the time, and then the few other days of the week, I really want to mix it up and try different things, just to keep myself interested in my closet so that I don't get bored. So what does that mean for me? Well, for one thing, when I did my Pinterest board, I barely pinned any skirts, and I don't think that I pinned any dresses at all. Now, in the fall and winter, for practical reasons, I don't wear skirts and dresses a lot. But I do see myself wearing them once a week, or maybe even every other week, but just for variety's sake, I do like to throw in a dress and a skirt now and then. Also, I do still have some printed tops or colorful clothes that I do like to pull out of my closet and wear every once in a while. I just don't feel like wearing all big, bright, bold colors right now. I'm not really into the maximalism thing, but having something bright or colorful as an accent piece I think is completely acceptable. And one of my favorite outfit formulas actually is the jeans and a nice top. So something like jeans worn with a woven blouse, a printed blouse, or a more colorful blouse. That's definitely a silhouette that I want to continue to wear. So for those days when I just don't feel like wearing neutrals or basics, I can definitely pull something like that out of my closet and get a little bit more variety into my wardrobe that way. And for those of you who seem worried that I'm going to throw away all of my bright colors and bold prints, don't worry about it, I would never do that. I'm lucky enough to have a fairly substantial amount of space that I can store things, so all I've done is I've stored those things away that I don't feel like I want to wear right now. But if I change my mind, I can always go dig out those boxes and start wearing them again. In fact, I recently did my closet switch over from summer clothes to winter clothes, and I got everything out, and this year I did something a little bit different because I am kind of honing in on my personal style a little bit more narrowly. I did my normal habit of putting away summery things that I know that I'm not going to reach for in the winter, and I put those in a suitcase that I store in another room. But this time I also pulled out those more wintry things that maybe just aren't quite in my color palette that I want to use for this year, or they're a little bit bolder, or just not something that I see myself wearing. All of those things I put away in a storage box that's actually still on the floor of my closet. So if I do change my mind and decide I want to wear some of those things, they're within easy reach and I can easily pull them out and start wearing them. But by tucking them away in a box, they're not distracting me. So when I open my closet door, I can see easily what I have available that I want to wear. And hopefully this will be easier for me to find the things quickly that I want to put on without getting bogged down by a bunch of other things that I know I'm probably not going to wear. I feel like I've been very slow and deliberate about this process and really just trying things out and seeing how I feel about it. I didn't just decide overnight that I was going to change my style and start wearing something else. So the way that I did it, I think that it still feels organically me, but just kind of slightly moving in a different direction than I was before, and I feel very confident that I'm on the right track. So that leads me to part 2 of this video, which is my fall and winter plans for sewing. Now, I already did a fall sewing plans video a few weeks ago, and I must have subconsciously been on the right track because a lot of those things that were in that video, I do still want to make. So I'm not going to rehash those things. I'm just going to link that video up in the cards in case you want to check it out after watching this one. But now that I have had time to think about what I really want to wear and think about the gaps that are in my wardrobe, there's a few things that I do want to make this season and add to my closet, and I'm going to share them with you right now. One thing to note about these plans is that I am very much trying to prioritize using fabrics that are already in my stash rather than buying something new. Because I just have so many gorgeous and frankly expensive fabrics that are just sitting in my stash not being used, and I really do want to make some of those things before I buy anything else. So let's talk about cardigans and jackets. One thing that I noticed when I was doing my Pinterest exercise is that I really don't have any kind of lady jacket or Chanel style jacket or tweed jacket or whatever we're calling it these days. And I really do think that something like that would fit in really well to my wardrobe, especially a cropped version, because I think it would pair really nicely with wide leg pants. Now, I did go ahead and buy a cardigan from Amazon because I just wanted to try out the look and see how I felt about it. And it's actually what I'm wearing today. And I will link my full outfit details down in the description box in case you're interested. But now that I know that I definitely do like this style of cardigan or jacket and I want to add a few more to my closet, I have a couple of knit versions and one woven version that I want to make. For the knit version, I was actually scouring the internet for patterns for quite a while now, and I just wasn't really seeing what I was looking for, but lucky for me, a pattern was just released from IM Patterns. It's called the Gaston, and I think that it will be absolutely perfect for what I want. This is a knit jacket, and it comes in 2 different versions. There's one with a collar and one that is collarless. It comes in sizes 34 to 52 in PDF format and 36 to 46 in paper. Now, this is a boxy jacket that's made out of a knit. I think the collarless version is perfect for what I am looking for. It has a few different options for the kinds of pockets that you can add, and I think I just need to make a few tweaks to get the exact style that I'm looking for. First of all, I think I'll probably size up a little bit just to make it a little bit more oversized on me, and then also I need to crop it because I believe the original jacket is meant to be like hip length, and I want mine to finish kind of just right at the top of my pants. The second version that I want to make, I'm not quite sure that I have enough fabric. I'm going to use a gray faux Sherpa fabric. I have about 1.5 yards left, and I bought it from Joann's back in 2018. This is actually a remnant. I had made a vest a really long time ago that I don't have anymore, and so that's why I'm not sure how much fabric I actually have left, but hopefully I have enough to squeeze out the jacket. Now, this version was inspired by a jacket that I saw from Mango. The Mango one's a little bit different from what I'm imagining because I believe it's a more of a longer, oversized fit. I would still do the cropped fit, but I really love the look of the teddy fabric or the Sherpa fabric. I just think that it would be so cozy and fun, and I really like the frog closures or toggle closures or whatever they're called that are on that jacket. I've never actually used that kind of closure before, so I'm not sure how difficult it would be to find. But I think that that could be a really fun touch, something a little bit different, a little bit more casual, but I do think that it would fit seamlessly into my closet. Now, this third jacket, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna make it or not, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I have not picked out a pattern yet. I'll put up an inspiration of a Sandro jacket. It's just your very classic traditional Chanel style jacket in a cropped fit. And I have this navy boucle fabric that I bought in 2022 from So Much Fabric. And the reason why I'm not sure I'm actually gonna make this or not is because I only bought 1 yard. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I think maybe I was thinking I would make a mini skirt and that's why I only bought 1 yard. But I have several tweed jacket patterns in my stash and they all call for more than 1 yard. So I don't know how I would make this work. I might have to use some contrasting fabrics for the facings or maybe use some contrasting fabrics for trims or something. I don't quite know, but I would really like to make this work if I can. I do think that this fabric would make an excellent Chanel style jacket. I think technically it is a knit, but it doesn't have a ton of stretch. And I did already look up the fabric on the website to see if they had any more, but because it was so long ago, they're definitely out of stock, and I think it was a dead stock, so they don't have any more. So I may give up in the end and just make it into a mini skirt if I can't figure out how to do a jacket, but certainly my preference is to make it into a jacket, and we'll see if I can get creative and make it work. Now let's move on to tops. There are a couple of tops that I would like to add in my closet. I would also like to make some basic t-shirts, but I'm not going to put that in this plans video because it's just not that exciting. But the first top that I want to share with you is the Jennifer Lauren handmade Ashling button-up blouse with collar. Now I have made this blouse once before, and I'll put in a picture of the one that I've made. I actually made the version that is not a button front, it's just a pullover, but I did make it out of a double gauze. I just really like the shape of the neckline of that blouse, and I like how the sleeves are not too puffy. And I've always wanted to try the button-up version with the collar, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. I have 2 yards of this white double gauze that I bought from Emma One Sock back in 2021, and I had always intended to make it into a white shirt. However, I already have a white shirt in my closet, so I don't want to duplicate and make exactly the same thing. So I was thinking that this type of blouse is still a white shirt, but it's definitely a different feel, a different look, a little bit more vintage, a little bit more feminine. So I think that it's different enough from my classic white shirt that I could definitely get a lot of wear out of it in my wardrobe. And I certainly think that this style of blouse fits in really well with my jeans and a nice top formula. So I know there are many different ways that I could style it if I add this one to my closet. The second top that I want to make, I'm not quite sure if this is the pattern I'm going to settle on, but for right now I'm thinking I want to make the Fiber Mood DD. I had talked about in my last video that I don't have a half zip pullover in a sweater knit, but I would really like one. I have seen a few weird things about the sizing on this pattern, and that's why I'm not quite sure I want to use this one. And certainly there have been many patterns that have come out recently for this style of sweater, so I might choose something else, but I'm pretty sure that the fabric I want to use is the Luxury Soft Sweater Knit in Heathered Navy that I bought back in 2022 from StyleMaker Fabrics. I just think this would make a really great elevated basic. I could easily layer it with a t-shirt underneath or even a jacket over top, and I think it would carry me through the fall into winter. Now moving on to bottoms. The first pair of pants that I would like to make is another pair of Butterick 6388 pleated pants. I've made these once before, I'll insert a photo, and I actually made these a really long time ago, I think back in 2018, and for a very long time I just couldn't figure out how to style them, so I actually haven't worn them that much. But since I've been on the style journey, I have recently pulled them back out and started wearing them again, and I've kind of fallen in love with them because they look like a tailored trouser, but because they're made out of a Ponte knit, they're very comfortable to wear. So I really want to add another pair to my closet. I have this houndstooth plaid double knit in black and white. I have 2 yards of it that I bought in 2021 from StyleMaker Fabrics. And I do think I might want to tweak the pattern a little bit. When it gets really cold in the winter, I don't like having my ankles out because it's just too cold. So I'm thinking I might lengthen the pants and slightly widen them at the bottom so that they will more easily fit over ankle boots. And I think that would make a really nice winter trouser that I could pair with turtlenecks and a blazer, or something like a button-up shirt. So I think it has a lot of potential in my wardrobe, and the pattern is fairly subtle, so I think that it would go with a lot of different things. The next pair of pants that I want to make are another pair of True Bias Lander pants. I've actually sewn this pattern twice before. I made the shorts, and then I also made the cropped pants. And this has become one of my favorite pants patterns. I just really like the fit, and I like the silhouette. I recently bought a bunch of pants because my body has changed again and I needed new pants, and I knew that I was not going to have time to make every single thing that I needed. But in this case, because I like this pattern so much, I do think that I would like to make myself a pair of wide leg jeans. And the fabric that I've chosen for this is Minerva Core Range 375 GSM Stonewash denim fabric in blue, and I have 2 meters of this, and I bought it earlier this year in 2023. So I plan to use like the typical contrast gold top stitching thread and have it as sort of a trouser jean look. I think that that would be really comfortable and really suitable for my wardrobe. I will make them full length this time rather than cropped. Just like I said for the other pattern, I don't want my ankles out for winter. And I've really been getting into the wide leg pants recently. I think they will be a seamless addition to my closet, and because they're so basic, I could wear them year round as well. Now I do have one skirt on my list, and that is McCall's 2255. This is a vintage pattern and I have sewn it once before. Now I don't wear the version that I made because it was a knee-length skirt, and in my first exercise when I was going through my camera roll and seeing what I like and don't like, I learned something about myself, which is I only like mini skirts that are above the knee or maxi skirts that are at my ankles. I don't like anything in between. I don't like knee length and I don't like midi. But I do really like this pattern, and I like that it's a bias cut flowy skirt. I pinned some outfits on Pinterest where people combine a bias cut skirt with something like a chunky sweater, and I just really do love that look for the winter, and I could easily layer it up with tights and tall boots and stay warm enough. Now the fabric that I've chosen for this has been in my stash forever, and I looked it up and I couldn't even find when I bought it, so that's how old it is. My best guess is that I bought it back in like maybe 2007, 2008. I got it from Fabric Mart. It's a silk charmeuse in a black and white floral print. I'm sure that I bought it on deep discount because I wouldn't have purchased it otherwise. And I have a love-hate relationship with this fabric. The reason that I've never used it is because I go back and forth every few years. Sometimes I like the print and sometimes I really hate the print, but I think that if I use it in a skirt and it's not something that's close to my face, that I won't mind the print as much. Certainly it does fit in with my color palette. It's just the style of the floral that I go back and forth on whether I like it or not. So admittedly, this skirt to me is more about just using up that fabric and getting it out of my stash because it's just been around for so long. And I will definitely make the longer version, and I'll probably go ahead and put a slit in the side just to make it easier to move. And if I end up liking this skirt, I may go back and make more versions, but for now I'm just going to start with this one. Now, as I stated earlier, I don't wear skirts and dresses very much in the winter, so I don't really want to have a long list of dresses that I know that I'm just not going to reach for. But I did put one dress on my list because I do like to wear cozy sweater dresses. So the pattern that I want to make is the Nina Lee South Bank sweater dress. I've made this once before, but I'd actually no longer have this in my wardrobe because the fabric that I made it out of was really thin to the point where I needed to wear it with a slip. It just wasn't very warm and the color wasn't great for me. So I have since rehomed that one, but I do really like the style of the pattern. I think that it suits me well, so I'd like to make another version. The fabric that I've chosen is a Carson cable stretch knit in wine red. I have 2 yards of it and I bought it back in 2021 from fabric.com. Now I know the reason that I've never used this fabric, it's because it's pretty thick, and when I had my old knottygnome serger, I was really worried at the time that my serger was not going to be able to handle the thickness of that fabric. However, now that I've had my baby lock serger for over a year, it's pretty hardy, so I think it's not going to have any issues sewing up that fabric, and I think it'll make a beautiful South Bank sweater dress. The only thing that I am undecided about, and this will strictly just be based on how much fabric I have, and that is I can't figure out if I want to do the mini version, which is what the pattern calls for, or if I want to try to just use all of the fabric and make it a maxi length. Either way, I think that it could be really warm and cozy. I could throw on a belt if I want to add some waist definition, and again, just pairing it with tall boots, and I could also just layer over it with like a denim jacket or a leather jacket or a blazer. And I do see myself loving this dress because I love texture and red is my favorite color, so I had to put that one on the list. Now, in case you missed any part of this series and you want to go back and watch the ones that you missed, I'm going to link the playlist right here. Thank you so much for watching.